Be ready within 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In a weekend ritual in tens of thousands of homes across India, parents and family members wait for or initiate calls to their children and siblings in America to catch up on mutual well being. And so it was on Saturday when Ati phoned home from Texas to talk to her father, T. Reddy, a sessions judge in Rangareddy District Court in Telangana. A few hours later, as news of yet another mass shooting, America's scourge, flashed across television screens, Reddy called her back, worried that the incident had taken place at an outlet mall. She had told her mother she would be visiting with her friend Shreyas only a few hours before. No response, she was dead at a young age of 27, buried in a pile of 8 victims, including a 5-year old boy, outside the Premium Outlet Mall in Allen, Texas. Her friend survived with gunshot wounds. The shooter, later identified on MG, lay nearby in a pool of blood, brought down by a cop who was in the mall on another call. Garcia, 33, was reportedly a security guard who was removed from the army in 2008 over mental health concerns. According to ABC 30, the US Army has not provided any more detail. While his motive remains unclear, law enforcement sources say now deleted social media pages show he had white supremacist and neo Nazi interests. The mass shooting epidemic, now universally seen as an ugly blot on America, had wounded a home in India, which sends thousands of students and white collar workers to the US each year. There is now apprehension among many Indian parents about sending their children to study in the US. A colleague who recently visited India told this correspondent they are looking at alternate options like Canada and Australia, seen as being much safer, like so many young undergrads from India. Ati came to the US from Hyderabad, where she earned her bachelor's degree in civil engineering in 2018, earning a master's degree in construction management from Eastern Michigan University. She found work soon after she graduated as a project engineer with Perfect General Constructors LLC, a firm in Frisco, Texas. According to friends posting on social media, Ati had visited India in 2022 for her brother's wedding, and her parents were hoping to get her married later this year. A local news outlet said he had been shopping at the mall for her 28th birthday later this month. One she will never see. In a tweet, the Indian consulate in Houston expressed deep condolences. The tragedy in Allen, which happened just over a week after another deadly shooting in the Texas town of Cleveland, reignited the heated debate over gun control. Saturday's tragedy also occurred just a couple of weeks before the first anniversary of the Texas school massacre, when 19 children and 2 adults were killed by a gunman at a school on May 24, 2022. Among the many pro gun moves, Texas exacted a legislation in 2011 allowing open carry of handguns without permit, license, or training. In a 2015 post, the state's governor, Greg, had tweeted, "I am embarrassed. Texas has two, a nation for new gun purchases behind California. Let's pick up the pace." Texas. On Saturday, Abbott blamed anger stemming from mental health crisis for the carnage in Allen. The only message Abbott posted on the latest massacre read, "The hearts of all Texans are with Allen, Texas." Tonight, I joined my fellow Texans in Allen for a community vigil for the innocent lives lost. It was a meaningless sentiment to 80s family in Telangana, which lost its daughter. Manipur's violence between Métis and Kukis seems to have been brought under control over the last 2 days. Tragically, the violence led to a loss of more than 50 lives and destruction of property. There is a lot of blame to go around, starting with the executive, which was unprepared despite knowing long festering disputes were coming to a boil. Friction between different ethnic groups has roots in Manipur's geography and culture. There have been bloody clashes earlier too. However, on this occasion, an emerging structural economic problem appears to have been added to a volatile mix. Manipur's Imphal Valley, home to Métis, covers just about 10% of the state's territory. However, it's home to about 67% of the population and also accounts for about 50% of the cultivated areas. The hills of Manipur, home to Kukis and Nagas, are largely forested. Forests cover a little over 75% of Manipur. Across that area, hill tribes practice shifting cultivation. In this backdrop, dissonance between two other features of Manipur have put more pressure on pre-existing differences. First, the state has a separate judicial and governance system for the tribal hill areas, which are controlled by autonomous hill councils. Second, These councils are authorized to manage and transfer property. In Imphal Valley, rising population pressure and inadequate economic opportunities created the conditions for Métis groups to ask for reclassification as scheduled tribes. It was a Manipur HC direction last month to the state government to submit a recommendation to GOI on the Métis demand for reservation that was the immediate trigger for the recent violence. The structural pressure was brought out in GOI's Employment Annual Report of 2021 to 22. In Manipur, 42% of the total households are in agriculture. Over.